Se viene allí, mucho cuidado con el primer arranque aquí que Simon acá. Este recibe, se lleva 2 eliminaciones. Viene la tercera.
Jogimo making a 1 versus 1, and Jogimo comes in!
Welcome back, everyone, to Week 3 of VCT Americas and our second match of the day. It's Crew versus Evil Geniuses. Dash here once again, joined by Sean and Athena to break down the second matchup of the day. And right off the top, I just got to say I'm shaking in my boots for Evil Geniuses at the moment. These are winless teams. Important to note, both winless teams. It's still early on in the season, but as we've already talked about, Week 3 is where we want to see teams start finding themselves. Reality is only one team can get the dub today.
That is indeed the reality, and I'm scared. Like you said, I'm scared for EG right now because they're coming into this game, and we saw a tweet come out a couple days ago. They're putting BCJ on the bench, and I think myself, along with the rest of the community, are thinking that's a little bit crazy. That's your experience. That's probably your most skilled player. There has to be something more to this. So who are they going to bring in out of their 10-man roster? Demon 1, the person with the least amount of experience. They're going to put him in this jet role where Jogimo's been struggling, and he's going to go up against Kesnet today.
Right, exactly. We're going to dive deeper into the substitution that EG's making, but keep all of that in your heads, and now pair that against a Crew that actually, while 0-2, does seem like they're on an upward trajectory.
Yeah, I mean, they're 0-2 against, pretty hard teams to beat. I mean, one of them is Furia. I mean, the top of the board right now. Losing to Furia isn't that big of a deal, and the MIBR game was so close. I mean, it was 2-1, or 1-2, sorry, and the games were really close. I mean, the last map going into overtime, I think just shows that, Crew might have that dog in them.
Yeah, yeah.
And coming into this, I agree, if I was EG, I would be scared because Crew is on that uphill, line. I think they are looking like more of a foundational team. They're finding who they are. They're super aggressive, and that's something that we love to see.
I think something that further supports the idea that Crew's got that dog in them is their willingness, right, to recover, or rather to go swinging back at their own mistakes or their own defeats, right? Losing in Week 1 on Ascent versus Furia, they pick it Week 2.
Yeah.
What?
That's insane, right? Furia picks Ascent into them, slaps them around a little bit, and then they go into Week 2 and they just pick it back, and they look amazing on it. And honestly, despite the fact that people are quite low on Crew and they're chilling at 0-2, you go and look at these games and you're realizing they have a good base, they have a good map pool, and they're playing these teams close, and you look at the strength of their opponents and you're like, wow, their opponents are quite strong. Maybe Crew is a little bit better than what people are giving them credit for.
Yeah, strength of schedule-wise, in terms of the two opponents they've already played, they've had essentially the toughest schedule of any other team so far in the league. So sitting at 0-2 is not, the most drastic, terrible thing. Of course, again, now is where it's important for you to get the dub because you are up against the other supposedly weakest team in the region.
Yeah, I mean, this is where you kind of want to get out of that, hey, I'm at the bottom of the scoreboard type of deal. Because for Crew, winning this would be a pretty big deal, kind of putting domination over EG would be super, super important. And I think it should be something that they're looking to do. I don't think Crew should be happy with a 2-1. I think they should be happy with a 2-0. I think that's what they should be striving for because as a team, that's just how good they're looking to me. I genuinely believe in this Crew roster, and I think EG just isn't sitting right for me right now.
I like it. We're setting the bar high here. Not only do we want your first dub, we want it to happen in 2-0 fashion, but I really couldn't agree more, right? Because that's, I think, what they need to kind of prove to themselves, even, that they can be competitors in this league. Again, it's top 6 that go for playoffs. You're well outside that position at the moment, but with still a lot of room to run. Kesnet, though, is who I've got my eyes on if it's going to come down to a single player to watch.
Absolutely, and this is the star duelist behind this Crew squad, right? You see him a lot on Jet, a lot on Raze, and I love watching Kesnet for his continuous aggression. He's always going to be fearless in the server. It doesn't matter if he's having a bad game. He knows what's necessary in his role, and he will always bring it. And in this matchup today, that's why I'm really scared for Demon 1.
I think doubly important that he's such an aggressive player considering that substitution. Already we know the EG's going to be working with maybe a lack of synergy. And then you go ahead and you put somebody who's going to be hard pushing you early on, challenging you in those duels, not giving you time to find set plays or get set up on the map. Oh, come on, that can't be a tougher spot to be in for EG.
Yeah, I mean, even the players on EG in that interview, they were saying that they think that Kesnet is crazy, and I think that that's something that they're definitely thinking about. Maybe they have something up their sleeves. Like, I don't know, maybe Demon 1 is kind of a demon. Maybe he's the counter to Kesnet. Who knows? Whatever it is, I think it's going to be a close like duelist battle. It's going to be like some crazy anime battle that we're seeing in front of our eyes here. Like, that's kind of what I'm expecting.
I actually agree. And I think normally EG tries to make their games look very pretty, very tactical. They're a super tactical team. If you watch their defensive setups, they're all trap plays and crazy util combos. But they really struggle at the mid-rounding on the attack half specifically. I think they're going to make things really scrappy today. We're going to get some jet duels all over the place this series.
They're definitely one of the squads that's been the most two-faced, to your point about like attack versus defensive side win rates, right? Where they look fairly solid on defense, being able to set up, unfortunately struggling, as we see here on the attacking side with a 34% win rate. And actually kind of mirrored in the statistics, actually. So Crew supports the idea that they're aggressive. They like to be the team on the forefront or on the front foot. Whereas EG, okay, we want to look pretty, we want to absorb that pressure. I just don't know if you can get that done against Crew.
EG's win rate on the attack actually went up last half. It was terrible. It was so bad. They were averaging 3 rounds a half. It was abysmal. So that is something they really need to work on. They got no success out of the Gecko comp they ran, and they're about to play a team that's proficient on the maps that they played Gecko on. So I think they might have fixed a lot of that in a couple weeks, hopefully. But those mistakes are just costing EG time and time again.
Absolutely. So, Athena, let's return to that kind of point that we kicked things off with, right? It's a roster update here for Evil Geniuses. They posted on Twitter a statement saying that Demon 1 was in for BCJ earlier this week. And honestly, again, it left so much of the community just aghast.
Confused?
At, like, what? Yeah, why? Wait,
what does this mean?
I thought BCJ was synonymous with Evil Geniuses in this kind of, you know, modern era. I like to see that BCJ, though, he's taking it in stride, right? Weighing in on the topic, saying, time to prep my resume, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the tweet itself was confusing and the idea is confusing. It just kind of seems like EG as a whole maybe is confused because, like, us as a community, me as an analyst, you guys, like, it's like, I don't really see the benefit of this. I don't want to take away from Demon 1 for sure. But again, like you guys said, he's inexperienced. He doesn't have that experience. And he's going up against Kesnet. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of weird things that seem to be wrong right now with EG, and that's one of them.
Like, for me, it's not even about a comparison of the two players. Like, that is a good discussion to have, right? It's just that you're only two matches into the season. Yeah. And you're making a swap for one of your most integral players in BCG. That's the part that's confusing to me. I could see, like, hey, post-Super Week, you're sitting at 1-4 or 0-5. Okay, change something for the sake of changing something. But again, we're left for wanting answers. And with this team's performance at Americas as well as the swap, it raises questions about the direction of the team, right? So we decided to go directly for the source, or to the source, for some answers. Coach Potter for her take on the situation around last week and what she had to say. You can see here, despite our first win results in Brazil, they weren't what we wanted. And we saw maybe there was an opportunity to switch up roles during the past few weeks. In practice, Demon 1 has proven himself as being a gifted jet, specifically. Coupled with our losses, it was the right time for us to figure out our skill ceiling. With our reserve roster, we have the opportunity to trial different players in these situations. So a direct call out to his jet play specifically. Do we feel like that, you know, is enough? Is that what they're missing? A little bit of firepower?
I think in certain instances, yeah. I think Jogamo has really fallen flat a little bit this season, given what I expected of him. I think Jogamo's a star player, and he's proven that. He's been, like, I think, rank 1 on the rank leaderboards. This guy's insanely skilled. And the rest of EG is as well, but their cohesion and ability to trade off of him in a lot of these early games just was not there. I don't know if that's going to be there with an inexperienced player, but maybe you could just kill everyone. That's what could happen today.
I mean, we were looking at Tens and we were just talking about how, like, he wasn't really being set up in the best ways, or maybe, like, he was overstepping. And I think, like, in this scenario, if you have a team that can't even set up your players in the best ways possible, then how on earth is that jet going to have that impact? And so, yeah, like, I feel like not having that team cohesion is such a big, big issue. And I don't really think a roster change is what they needed, but maybe again, like I don't want to be negative about it, but maybe there's something going on.
No, and in general, right? Of course, you're going to put some expectation on Demon One to live up, right, to the substitution and prove that he was worth taking a risk on. But more often, you want to look at the other 4 players who remain, right? That's the core. You guys already have that synergy, and Giacomo is a big piece of that core. We'd look for him to maybe step up where BCJ can't anymore because he's not in the lineup.
Exactly, and this is where someone like Giacomo, part of that core, as well as Potter, who gave that quote, this is where she comes in huge, right? Because last year, she had so many cool little trick plays and gimmicks that got them through in deep runs into LCQ. She did so well, and we've seen flashes of that this year with the Gecko play specifically on Pearl, but we haven't seen really the set plays on attack. I think this week we might start getting that, and I want to see some cohesion between the initiators and the star duelists, more so than what we saw in the previous weeks.
All right, well, we're going to need to see it if they want to get that dub and move to a 1-2 scoreline overall. Now, before we get into this match, we want to lighten the mood just a little bit with a quick game to see how well we know the players here at VCT Americas. It's called Who's That Pro? It's a pretty simple game. I'll walk you through how it works, okay? We'll run a clip of a player answering a question. Their face and their voice will be obscured. We'll write out our guesses on our little whiteboards here as to who we think it is, and then we'll play the undoctored version of the clip to get our answer. Now, I will just say right off the top here, because I don't have high hopes for our performance in this game, that during our rehearsal this morning, Athena and I rocked it. We got the test clip completely. Sean, not as lucky in that one, but I'm only saying that now because I feel we might sport a 0% win rate at the end of this game here. Let's go ahead and dive into the first clip, shall we?
I'm gonna get owned.
Cuando tenía como 18 años, me surgió como una cosa como por ver animes de cuando yo era chico, como Naruto, Dragon Ball Z. Como que dije, tengo que verlos de nuevo y terminarlos, porque cuando chico nunca los pude terminar. Y ahí empezó como mi amor, y después dije, esta verdad que estaba One Piece, voy a ver un poco, y me enteré que tenía 800 capítulos, y dije, ese es muy bueno, y empecé a verlo, y desde ahí me enamoré, y encuentro que era el mejor anime de la historia.
I have absolutely no idea, by the way. I'm just going to say that right off the rip.
Wait.
Couple things. First of all, the question was, what is your favorite TV show? Naturally, so we're trying to pinpoint the weebs out there on the different teams.
Yeah, I'm just putting a guess down, and it might be wildly wrong.
Yeah, I'm also just gonna put. I'm just putting a guess down. We're ready for the reveal. Okay, we're all somewhere different. JZZ, Mazzino, Kesnit.
Wait.
It's Nags. It's Nags.
Dude, that was my second guess.
Yeah, oh, was that where you're gonna go next? Okay, I was like, I'm already so mad because we got the first one. Damn it. Okay, all right, second pro, we asked them, what is your guilty pleasure song of choice?
This is hard.
This is so hard.
I mean, I really like the female singers, like Adele
Okay.
and Beyonce and Taylor Swift. So if they ever release an album, I'm putting that on straight away.
I need to hear that again. I need to hear that again. Production was talking in my ear the whole time.
No, you don't. He said Taylor Swift.
That doesn't help me. That doesn't help me.
Yeah, I think I know.
And that was a distorted voice, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm gonna go. I really don't know.
Yeah, I'll show you mine.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Deaf. Okay. Was that really deaf? Makes sense actually, because it was.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought you know what's funny is the filter actually made me think that the accent was part of the filter.
Really?
No joke.
Hear it.
Otherwise, I should have gotten that 100%
production
just based on the accent. To be honest,
I heard a little bit of the accent.
that would have been the play. Yeah, the accent was the play, but I was like, I don't know, it just sounded fake, which I guess makes sense when you put a filter on it. Okay, our last pro. We asked, what is your main hobby outside of gaming? Is there anything to do outside of gaming?
Acredito que a coisa que a gente mais está fazendo, não só eu, mas todo o time, a gente está praticando bastante esporte no nosso gramado lá de casa, sabe? Jogando muito futebol, basquete e principalmente eu gosto de pular muita corda, então pra quem mais... tudo que eu tô comendo, eu tô pulando muita corda, correndo bastante. Acho que é esse, principalmente o hobby que a gente tá fazendo aqui em LA.
Okay, I literally have no idea.
Again, this would be another one, yeah, just like throwing a dart, blindfolded. This is where I'm really hating myself for never picking up a second language and being able to like cleanly decipher between like Portuguese or Spanish or something like that. Because I can't even like narrow it down to that degree.
Yeah, I'm just.
I was trying to think about what.
Listen, no matter what happens, guys.
I'm gonna go with one of your earlier guesses out of nowhere.
Okay.
I think.
Okay,
I'm just gonna go for my reveal immediately. Ooh, Khalil's this. Oh, I like the Khalil guess. Aspas, Khalil, and Mizzino. Let's get that reveal though. All right, well, I'm 0 for 3.
You talk.
Hey, the two of you got a dub though. I consider that to just be a win for the whole whole desk. The fact that we even got one out of all of that.
I'm proud of us.
Cool opportunity to get to know some of our players just a little bit more. Do you and your squad, like they were, you know, some of them out there playing football and basketball together, do you guys partake in many team building activities?
In our old facility, we actually had a basketball net outside, and we would like, dude, Emily, my teammate, is just insane at it. And we had Emily on our little FaceTime camera because she couldn't be there, unfortunately, and we were just playing.
That's actually hilarious.
You can be a part of it
Yeah.
through FaceTime. You gotta love that. You gotta love that. All right, well, it's time for us to get our second match underway and welcome Evil Geniuses and crew to the VCT Americas stage, where they are attempting to get their first win on the board and start that climb up the standings. Both teams enter winless, but one of them will leave today with a tick in the win column, and they will begin their climb up the standing. It's Crew Esports up against Evil Geniuses. Let's talk about maps here. Let's talk about what might come to the table. Sean, you kicked us off by talking a little bit about how Potter always has a master plan, right? Always has a master plan. And bringing Demon in, my question is, does that change their priority at all in terms of the maps that they want to play, considering what she said about how he is a premier Jet player?
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're going to do with the maps because they, more than any team in this region, are willing to have quirky comps, right? A Sova on Fracture, a Gecko on Pearl. They're willing to do those kind of crazy things that some of the other teams aren't. So do they just slot Demon 1 in a Jet slot in these comps? I don't know. They could drastically change everything, but they didn't have any time to do that. So this is a huge question mark for me.
And Athena, the other side of the coin, of course, right, is Crew's position of having to evaluate the substitution, right? And let that play into their map strategy.
Yeah, I think for Crew here, like, just playing to their strengths is going to be the best thing that they can do. I know that they now have, like, some sort of anomaly on the other team, but I think that they should not be scared. Like, for us, for our team, as soon as we know that something's wrong, maybe a map slipped by that we didn't want to, we still play to our strengths, and we don't let that waver our confidence at all. And I think that that's what Crew should be doing on their way here.
We'll find out pretty quickly as we dive into the map vetoes, and it's Icebox off the table immediately for the side of Evil Geniuses.
It's interesting. That's historically a very, very good map for EG, but obviously this iteration not feeling too comfy on it. Haven taken out of the pool.
Man, why does everybody gotta hate on Haven?
Haven's so sick.
I love that map, man. I want to see it more. Oh well, it'll be Pearl to kick things off. It's what we ended the last series with. This time, it will be our starter.
And that's where they ran the Gecko Harbor Viper. Like, that was crazy. I hope we get to see that comp again. I love seeing Gecko.
That would be the dream. It's a response from Crew of Ascent.
Okay.
I think that's...
I like these maps.
I think that, yeah, I like that map a lot for Crew because they're probably in their eyes the better team, the more practiced team, the more drilled team, and that's what Ascent's all about, those fundamentals. And I think Crew is heavily favored on Ascent.
Yeah, and Crew, like last time they played against MRBR, actually picked Ascent and won Ascent. And Ascent is actually the map that you guys were just saying earlier, how they lost on it, fixed it, picked it again. They were like, yeah, we got this in the bag. And so I think that Ascent is looking good. I think Pearl as well is looking good. Crew likes playing this map. Both these teams, looking forward to seeing Pearl. And then that last map.
A Fracture, if we're lucky enough to get there. If we're lucky enough to get there.
I think that'll be so interesting if we see Fracture, because if Calm plays Sova again, I feel like Crew has to have so little reps playing against the Sova on Fracture, and that's where things will get spicy.
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. Well, again, has to be a 1-on-1 scoreline to get there, and I think the way that we were talking in the commercial breaks, it definitely feels like we're leaning the way of a Crew 2-0 unless something special happens. And a place where something special can happen is, of course, in Agent Select. We'll see if it will just be Demon 1. Well, no, actually, we get the answer very quickly. He's not going to be relegated to just Jet for the series.
Huh?
What?
Interesting. So a little bit of an adjustment coming through.
Dude, it was a bait. It was a bait quote tweet from Potter. She was like, well, just tell everyone that he's a really good Jet, and then he'll play KJ for the whole series.
All of us.
Wow, what a move.
Okay, interesting. I mean, hey, you have a Gecko already? Gecko Harbor.
And when they ran the Gecko the first time on attack, well, on defense, they looked great. On defense, they made it work. On attack, they botched the plant location several times. You know how you can target the plant with Wingman?
Yeah.
He went to the wrong spot a couple times. Other times, they used the Harbor utility completely incorrectly on B hits. I would imagine these are huge focus points for Potter, and they probably cleaned this up.
Double controller, double initiator, and a sentinel. No duelist in sight here for Evil Geniuses, but that's what they think will bring them success in map number 1. We are ready to go. So all that's left to do is hand it over to your casters for this match. You're in luck because it's Vancillion Riv.
Are we really in luck? Usually when we cast matches go to OT, right? But this one, I'm not too sure here, Riv, because it's Evil Geniuses versus Crew. I feel the same way, actually, as the desk. Kind of nervous for EG, especially going into this map. Demon 1 is not coming out here as a duelist. No Jet Crack plays, and he's actually restrained from KJ utility, so that's also a switch in roles from Boostio going into the smokes.
Very much so, and Demon 1 had not very many Killjoy plays in that history. You go 90 days, 30 days, 60 days, you have to hit all time, and he's only got 3 in there. So it's been a while, but maybe it's like riding a bike in that sense. We'll see. It could be tough. Crew, we had a lot of people expecting to come out strong here, starting on attack.
Here.
And we know how much they like to press W. 4-1 split to start off towards B for Crew here.
Yeah, you talk about like riding a bike, but Demon 1's got to get off the training wheels really quickly. As he's getting pressure now towards the B site with the Sheriff in hand. All of Crew slowly moving up.
A little lurk here by Nags to watch everybody start coming through mid. Start to alert the team. And they will be able to find that Killjoy utility is at B. Easy take with the Harbor wall, but this flank, only 1 for 1. A good trade out by Jogamo.
It was a flash missed. And at least we have all players flanking around while Demon is just still making sure that nobody's pushing towards this B lane. All of Crew playing inside the site. And now noise is being made, noise is being heard. As EG are traveling back towards the retake of the B site. Crew identifying that, pushing forward into the B lane, right where Demon 1 is. But Klaus takes him down with the frenzy. Inside the site, trade-offs all around, but still Crew takes the upper hand. Jogimo forced to be off the spike. Nice flick onto Melzer, but it's still Crew with the pistol round.
Able to hold nice clear on B Link. I think Demon was going to provide a lot of pressure there once they got themselves back into the site, but good control. Crew knowing they had to stay in. This double controller comp gets real messy if you try to put everybody towards that long side. We just saw a whole bunch of it in our last match.
Yeah.
So playing smart, playing up close, and now identifying kind of that first Demon 1 round where this Killjoy utility is. They'll keep Demon 1 separated now towards A. The 3 push for orb control there as Crew still stays on this B push. He grabs this.
Really just looking for this orb pretty much, and at the same time, like, no real change in technically the recipe from EG of how they played last week. So
Right.
the strengths that we had from EG going into this game on this map was that their defense was actually really good, looking really good in terms of the utility they were able to use together. And we'll see that once they finally get the money right. This time around, it really looks like Crew are gonna wrap up with 2 easy rounds. Only 1 player inside the site, and that is that Boostio switch on this Astra, already connected from a couple of bullets. Looking to be for some safety at least, but there's just too much pressure from Crew.
And look at the money. Crew setting themselves up nice. Davies still with the Sheriff into this round, so rebuys or purchases for a teammate can happen here in the next few rounds. Just putting the little pieces together so the puzzle fits if it can't work in a few rounds for Crew. Here's the last kill onto Ethan. Nagzit takes that one down. And 2 rounds for B that Crew has tried to get the advantage on. A noticeable push Nagzet was able to stop from EG coming to that A side. It might even 4-0 for Kesnet have ult soon, so that could be a big one if they need to as well play towards that economy. Getting an op in there, Kesnet would rush that straight down B. We know how these guys play. Spike drop. Looks like they'll leave it down for this round, so they really want to feel out what EG does for this bonus. No full commit yet for Crew. This is just going to sense out how the map is going to work for Evil Geniuses here. Quick control. Orb for anybody here, but they are going to start to focus Klaus on that ultimate.
Klaus, who had a slower game last week as well, but really popped off in week 1. If he could find that form back into this week number 3, this matchup against EG, it might get more one-sided than we expect here between this matchup. But for EG, at least for this round, they're gonna sound the alarm on a hit into the A side, but it's still an opener onto Boostio. The alarm bot was too far back. That allows this player advantage out from Crew.
Using EG's utility against them.
Exactly.
Knowing that alarm bot would peek on the slow walk-in. God, Kesnet, it's just one step ahead. They cascade over towards A, so they're going to keep Demon there. And they actually get the high tide towards A now, so Crew gets to work without that utility against them if they do decide this B take.
At least we have the Trailblazer coming out from Ethan, clearing out towards the B lane. So no over-rotate from the 2 players inside the site for EG.
30 seconds
Still
left.
have a crossfire set up. Ethan still watching that cross into the back halls to protect Calm in the back, throwing a dizzy, getting that info, and Jogimo sprays from the top. An early 4 versus 4, a guaranteed plant coming out from Crew. As Jogimo's looking to spray back with his teammates, waiting for the high tide to come down. But all of Crew playing passively. Long B, all 4 of them. And here comes the fight. Right inside, Davies gets the opener onto Ethan. High tide then coming up. No flash really coming out yet from Klaus as we're waiting for that to come up, but they got it into the halfway. Wingman's helping the rest of EG, at least getting into the half defuse. One has to stick it now when it's 2 versus 2, and it's going to be the full defuse coming in thanks to the high tide for EG.
Last player standing.
A few rounds ago, Van Stille, you praised Crew for staying in the site, understanding these retakes and how tough they'll be at long. Well, they go long for one round, and we see just how tough the cove play is, the walls after walls that you can use, or even smokes here, with Boostio not being on the Viper. So that retake has to be placed smokes, and then within that time, to use the angles you're creating.
Enemy remaining.
Really great push, and big for EG as well to put themselves out in that dangerous position. You can't just try to get small peaks by jiggling long. You have to get out there, show yourself, and bring the fight to Crew. That's what EG did. Another B round for Crew as EG focuses that A orb. Whoa, Reckoning right away.
Yeah, a really quick one. It's going to be an open site, at least for now. A cove being thrown, making sure that we're turning all our stones. And Crew clears up the B site. There's that plant and a lucky kill through the smoke. Calm already falls, and that's less utility for the retake, at least for this Reckoning coming back from EG.
It's going to be tough for whoever's back call. Melzer starts it off.
The stun from the back, Demon running out. Now Kesnet's being double stunned, trying to get the shots. And Demon continues in with the Guardian. But the long range play out from Crew once again. Boostio just playing close to the smoke, eats one of the flashes. And his position is given away as he shot Now being sprayed. At least one's tapping onto the spike. The first, the flick over. Ethan got it halfway. It's a 1 versus 1. Still sticking it here. Turning around, but next it works in. And it's Crew answering back with 3 on the board now.
To the last drop again on a round. Crew playing that one a little closer to the chest, though. They keep themselves in a position with some distance, so they're not all forced to hide behind that pillar and then takes EG shots. A lot more defense provided up on the top of that B long. Nags it, clutches it up 3-1 now, as we see what kind of ultimates are online for Crew. Easily ults that could get them into the site with the Blade Storm and Seekers if they cannot figure out how to get this round onto the defensive side right away. High tide towards A, slow push towards mid for EG. They're trying to take a little more space and cut off Crew's possibilities. It seems like Crew hasn't really been kind of sourcing anything on the map. They go to a spot and they take it so far. And EG just has to be ready in these situations. Towards B again though, Vans. They make sure they haven't been played or pushed on as they regain this space. Looks like they have shop control and the flank still on watch. So another one towards B here for Crew.
I've got your trail.
Even investing onto Seekers. While EG has a full save into this one, but so far, it seems for EG the game plan has changed a little bit from what we've seen on the last time they played here on Pro. A little bit less of the trap play combos and the combination coming out from Calm as this Gecko. And really trying to play assist on the retakes instead.
Full B-Link take, Van Silly?
Yeah.
Oh, this looks scary.
It's going to be difficult. Everybody's funneling into pistols against rifles. It's not going to be easy at all. I mean, that was bad news bears as we saw it from the radar. We saw it coming miles away. And hopefully EG, though, they'll be able to readjust going into the next round. The retake plays were really, really close. We saw even from Christine's camera, Potter's point of view, that it was so close on that 1 versus 1 defuse for Ethan. So at least the protocols of the retake works for a bit. It's those last fights there by that pillar of Long B.
And I has to confirm for Crew, B is just one of their lockdowns, right? If not lockdowns, that's kind of confusing. But B is one of the easy sites for them to take on those low buys for Evil Geniuses. The retake was tough, and Crew was able to just waltz into the site. Looks like we'll get a timeout here just to sort things out once we get another buy coming in for EG. We'll actually see whose timeout it is, honestly. But these ults haven't been used by Crew yet. They're still able to secure rounds and be able to counter what Evil Geniuses has. And if this is a setup, we'll try to see where Calm is, if they have kind of a trap protocol here coming up with Thrash. But I think EG's taking space on the previous rounds were good. Getting that mid, it made Nags consider a little bit more before rotating with the team. And if it's just separating Crew's numbers inside the site by keeping that flank away from the team, away from Crew, that could be it, right? EG just needs to find the numbers right now because they're not getting into the site very easily. Or those 1 or 2 numbers are what they need when the defuse happens, because it's coming down to a 1v1.
Yeah. You have an opportunity to be very strong here on a retake, so with what you have available for EG moving into this round. You talked about B having a lockdown. Well, technically, if you actually still have Demon 1 playing this B side, they do have a lockdown for that retake. They do indeed. And the Cosmic Divide, as well as that Thrash, is going to help push and clear that space back. But that's only for 1 round, right? That's only one answer that they may have. But for the rest, when they don't have these ults, what can they really do here against Crew's aggressive, very fast pushes on B?
It's 1 round, I think they kind of only attempted a contact play, was it, at A, right? Every other round, Crew has just hit the site. So I think the retake for EG has been working. Make sure you're alive, get out of there, play your life, play the discipline, and then be able to swarm back in. I feel like EG still has the shots. They're still hitting their trades. One of the things that I noticed in a lot of Evil Genius' previous games is kind of understanding the current state of the game that they're in, whether or not they're focusing on a play so much that they forget there's an ult on the other side that quickly counters that play, whether they play a 1 and done, but the other team has a res, right? These advantages you're trying to gain, but really only put you behind a player in that play, in that thought. So seeing where they are, making sure that they're viewing all the ultimates, viewing the position that Crew has been playing, the precedence that they have. I think EG just needs to iron out all that. They'd be good to go. The aim's there. It's just they need to cooperate for everything else. Here we are, 4 to the right side for Crew. It'll be his control on orb, lockdown as well as something Crew could grab here if they decide to get it. And the spikes dropped as they just mill about here for the beginning of this round. Guiding light up B to start. It's Kesnet. Everything out of the gate. Really trying to whittle the numbers of EG down here with that updraft into Bladestorm. And the rotation over. EG says, okay, Guiding Light didn't hit anybody long. Crew has been there. This is that learning from the precedent. Everybody rotates over when Ethan's Guiding Light doesn't hit anyone.
The second one does hit somebody, though.
Could be a fake, though. Oh, and they thrash it.
That's well done for that.
Wow. Wow.
Get that info, but Crew still patient. Still disciplined to stay very far behind. Cutting noise into this moment. Nags slowly re-clearing up towards long. And EG is trying to really be proactive around this site. Using a thrash in the first place, having Dizzy on the second time. We're really trying to rotate our utility with this double initiator to get the information. But as they still have nothing, everybody's playing way passively back towards the spawn to react a little bit more because they have this lockdown to work with.
Welcome to my world.
Push inside sight. Easy grab on the ultimate.
30 seconds left.
And the A main control will be very good here for the side of Crew. Let's see how EG does this. They do have all 5 for the retake like we were looking for.
Now the advantage comes in for EG because this lockdown is going to nullify this Viper's Pit placed down by Melzer. The thrash is also coming out. The flash outside of long, but it might have been in that smoke. Nobody's really affected by that. At least the pit's going to go down for now. Lots of sprays coming through with the Phantoms. And it's going to be Crew opening first onto this post plan. And it's Crew all over the board. No else need on the post line either. Everyone's just getting dropped. Unfortunately, no kills coming in for EG for the attempt of a retake. The long A pressure was too strong for Crew.
I think the Phantoms was an awesome point out there, Van Silly, because it was Crew lacing that smoke, lacing default plant position with 4 to 5 Phantoms. Still have those Phantoms in play, understanding that double controller composition, and just being able to trade without seeing the enemy becomes the gameplay. When you're wall after wall, smoke after smoke, Crew thinking ahead, right? What does this round need so we can secure it? And it seems like they just force EG to push through those smokes and try to take control without having control of their own.
Yeah.
Cascade up. This B, right back to B. The rinse and repeat on one of their bread and butter strats.
Oh my God. And that's the story. We have to find a way as evil geniuses to stop this man right here. Kesnet on fire, head to head. You have an opportunity to do it with Demon 1, but you're still putting him in here into a role that's not a duelist. It comes down to a point with how much you want to flood as a team now for EG to fight against that aggression coming out from Kesnet. They have the utility for this. They have a composition for that. We just haven't seen the real fight with that utility.
In Vans, the floodgates are open at this point.
Oh, yeah.
The Crew punishing through these situations, a reckoning on an eco for EG. They said, no, whatever. Solidify these rounds, keep it going, do not hesitate on the momentum. Kesnet looking for the 4 here as they finalize a few more, almost the ace, but Klaus gets the trade. And 6-1 for Crew. We'll see EG back on weapons for this round. The momentum for Crew, though, just seems so strong. Whether they're going A, whether they're going B, they're hitting sites at the point they're there. They don't have to pull EG around the map. It's just pure power right now from Crew.
And okay in that previous round to use that reckoning, as you mentioned before. Just securing the round because you could still stack more ultimates round after round. This time over, potentially to use a lockdown from Nags. Kesnet continues to open up. He's going to have Bladestorm. EG really needs to find a way to stop this momentum that's built up by Crew so far. Because every type of opening that they're trying to get, they're winning them.
First mid play here by Crew. Not finding any pressure to start off, but also EG able to avoid and keep all their utility up. So nice job by kind of reading the safety on this round. This little lurk though. Melzer just on an adventure right now. Gets himself behind that column. No B link play. All 5 towards long B if nobody goes through shops here. Just hits. What a play by Ethan to get that contacts. Keep EG solidified in their defensive positioning. You can actually see him taking safety now towards spawn on the upper side. Seeker's ready there.
Seeker's ready, but we're just going to wait for the lockdown to happen first here for Nagset. So another situation where EG is going to try to play into the retake. They have a lot of ults to work with to at least score 2 into the board. And there's that default plant here for a long.
Reckoning.
Early reckoning, but Klaus pushes towards the spawn. We wanted him to step up, and he does so at least into this round, making it difficult for the retake coming back from EG. Demon 1 waiting for the poison orb to come back down. Trailblazer pushing one into the spot, into the back B site, and that's Davies. With the Cosmic Divide slowly dropping on the defender half. Davies is looking for that fight against Ethan. Nice little peek. And there's that wingman onto that spike. So 3 players can still fight down towards that pillar. Swinging back and forth, that discipline coming through.
Melzer.
Now back to a 2 versus 1. Demon finally answers back. And EG are finally able to retaliate.
A lot cleaner and much more paced out for EG there. Able to get into the site one by one. Props to Ethan for the first guiding light that detects Melzer already hiding towards long B. That allows EG to stay in position. And then the follow-up kills from Ethan. So very big round there from the Sky player. 6-2. A lot of big rounds needed still for Evil Geniuses. They just got back into a bit of that money here as they build their bank. And now they have to wear out Crew. A 4-1 split continues here for Crew. No ultimates really on. Actually, Kesnet could be there with a Blade Storm here if they go for this orb after they get control of Long. Wow, right up, Vansili.
Yeah. Doesn't matter for Kesnet. He really just wants to get the opener by running through with the Phantom, which would initiate the Blade Storm no matter what.
Yeah.
Leave the orb for somebody else as you gain control of Long B. But a lot of resources were exhausted from EG on that previous round. All of their ults are gone. And this is this question mark coming again for the defender side of EG. Does Evil Geniuses have a protocol for a retake when they don't have these ults to work with? It's been reactive all the time.
The ults as well. The rundown long of B for Crew there. Extracted the high tide out of Jogamo. So they're thinking once we hear Crew, we have to deliver a bit of util, right? Really knowing that Crew can pack a punch once they hit the site. Already through Art here, looks like they'll distribute a few of their forces. It's going to be one flank coming in for Melzer. And here we go on to A.
Keza dashing in, being sprayed right away by 2 players inside the pit. Keza's got to get the heal while we try to get the plant in. Gravity well, trying to hold Davies away from the plant. They're going to be able to do so at least. 25 seconds left. High tide's about to come down. Dizzy also coming out to get information, but it's not going to group anybody at all. Demon 1 gets the first one onto the board, at least for this round. But it's the post-plant play now for Crew. Moving all outside of the site. Right there. While Ethan healing up his teammates. Waiting for the timing to get back in. Nanostorms will actually push very early from Nags. So an opportunity for EG to fight right back. Boostio, headshot onto Davies. But Klaus is still there to retaliate. Melzer at long, Snake Bite on the ground. Sneakers coming out into the A site. As now the Tapalies comes in. Great job here from Ethan. Nags it. Trying to get it done. It's halfway, at least for Calm. As he gets off it, turns across. Calm gets the kill in the clutch. And EG are able to at least string 2 rounds in a row.
Picking up another round. And like you said, without the ultimates, it's going to be tougher. They have to play more as a team there, Vansili. That take onto the A site, it looked like everybody was just going to get killed again by the Phantoms, by the spams, once everybody started to retaliate. We saw how much damage started to come from just the sprays on those paper-thin walls at Dugout. And into the site, Ethan comes again. Great control coming through. And obviously, the calm clutch, calm and collected. 6-3 now as Evil Geniuses pick up another one. And that Blade Storm is there we were talking about. Slowly pushed up. Kesnet is just on a solo activation here. The Cascade is enough for him to run forward and dash through. Who follows, right?
Very reckonings that we had so far from Davies on the execution into this B site now for Crew. Thrash available for Calm though. Swing and activate that. When we actually have that utility coming back from the defense. Backside now cleared. Kesnet getting the spray through the Cascade as he drops Jogamo. Double smokes then coming out from the defender side. All 4 of them trying to push forward for a fight. Big flash through the smoke, more sprays through the smoke. And it's once again Crew all across the board for all of these kills. Demon trying to transfer as much as he can onto 3, but can't even get 1. Crew has, once again, a very strong hold on a pulse plant from Long B.
Yeah, you mentioned Davies' ultimates. Honestly, 7 and 5 there, not doing too shabby. Davies' KO still popping off quite a bit in the necessary situations. So whatever Davies has to play can always be putting up numbers here. I was looking at Kesnet right at the beginning. 15 and 6 though for Kesnet. They stray from the op here. They just want to go forward. Bladestorm still available. And yeah, it's been a little activation for Kesnet, but also Kesnet like yards in front of the team, ready to make plays, just feeling so confident today in his own play. As this Cascade goes forward for Alt Orb control, that would be Demon 1s if they were to play towards A with Killjoy here for the side of Evil Geniuses, but in uncontested on this A site, and it is going to be the save here for Evil Geniuses to try and get back in and create any trap that they can to do some damage.
And that's the thing, is there's such great reads coming out from Crew right now, from Melzer. The amount of times that they're hitting towards this B site, they broke the economy of Evil Geniuses. Evil Geniuses says, well, they're always hit towards this B site, let's gamble sec towards B, and there you go. Crew moves into the A site, gets a free plant. With the weaponry now, can play very close range inside the Viper's pit too. And they're gonna pretty much run away with this round, unless a miracle happens.
Oh dear.
And there's no miracle coming through today for EG. A flawless round, no damage being done at all. Nobody even got tickled onto Crew's side as they move up to 8 rounds against 3 from EG.
I feel like we need to have a stat that compares how many people have died without being seen this game. There's just like a lot of strafing and shooting inside those smokes right now with the Phantoms are coming out on top. We actually only see 1 Vandal in the game currently onto Ethan looking for those head taps, but the operator does come out, Van Silly. Demon 1. Gonna bring that out in the Killjoy.
Took 12 rounds.
Yeah, at the 12th round, at the final hour, say, yeah, why not? Try it. Deep into the pocket they reach for these credits.
I still like it though, because it still falls into that same play style of EG. We see Busio opting onto this Killjoy when he was playing that role too. And Demon 1 also a crack jet player. It just makes sense they could bring out this operator. Lock it down towards the long B though, but nobody's gonna be moving there from Crew.
Oof. Quickly taken out. So let's see if they can convert Crew. Usually able to find one of these numbers. That was been the big thing for EG, having everyone to retake these sites, because Crew is making it so painful. Here able to they might even change what they do here, destroying this util. Once they see it, they could go straight back.
Get out of it!
Oh no, they go straight forward. Who would have guessed? Crew pressing W. Oh, Demon's there.
Looking to land some more. Misses that one, now vulnerable from a snake bite on the ground. Elise has support from Ethan moving inside the site. Spraying across, but his teammates falling down. Demon, once again, is just 1 inside the B site. Closed in by both angles. Backstop by Melzer. And the plant now comes in for Crew.
30 seconds left. Spike planted.
Dizzy coming out. High Tine and also a Cove. Trying to block the vision, playing inside by the poster. But unfortunately here, it's going to be a 9-3 for Crew.
Could be the curse. We'll have to see. EG, you can see just how much they're trying to make plays. Pressure, and that Jogamo going through that swarm grenade there just to get the timing. But the timing isn't there, Desk. What do you have to say? First half for Crew. Could EG come back?
It's going to be a tall order if EG wants to come back, especially considering that was their better side, the defensive side that we've talked about, and they go down in 9-3 fashion through the first half. Now, to be honest, a lot of that first half played out how we expected. Kesnet given full permission to go hard, go fast, and find the kills. So instead, we wanted to take a moment to talk about the usage of Gecko on the other side. He's our newest agent, and while it is only a few wins here, a few round wins for EG, there has been some pretty cool usage of him and his little buddies all throughout.
Yeah, I like how they used him, and even on this play right here on the B retake, I like how they're layering the Cove first, and they tap on the Cove, so you're spraying the Cove. And then the wingman comes in after that spray comes through, gets half, and then a player can get the other half. I really like how Calm used the wingman on some of these takes. But ultimately, Crew's phantom spams through the smokes were insane. It's like 150 bullets just constantly coming through the smokes on every retake. You're just getting slaughtered.
Yeah, it feels like half these kills this whole map so far has been through smokes, through Viper Pit, through walls. Like, there's just a consistent spammable entity here, but like, I mean, Crew just playing back, playing patient. They kind of figured it out, you know, denying the wingman. As soon as they got the wingman to half, those are the 2 rounds that EG did win.
Exactly.
So as soon as they figured out to just deny that half, it's just like, after that, it's over. They're just playing back, they're playing post. They're spamming.
Yeah, maybe that was something Crew didn't understand, because when a wingman defuses, it's directly on top of the spike. So your ping has to be directly on the spike, and it's different than if a player was actually defusing the spike. So it kind of caught them off a little bit in the beginning of that game, but they settled into it, and they just ran away with it in those post plants.
Yeah. Also just the freedom that it affords you, right? To start to be more aggressive and take space while Wingman is getting some of that diffuse down. As well, Calm had the only other round win, which was a clutch as well in a 1v2. So, you know, good look from him, but he, as well as the rest of EG, is going to need to step up in a big way here on the back half of Pearl if they want to push this one with a 1-0 victory. We're back out to Vansili and Riv for the call.
Thank you so much, Dash. And yes, indeed. I mean, we had a nice little replay explained here by Sean that Calm actually had some great utility coming out, at least on that first round that EG was able to get, using some great utility. Calm also seems to get a little bit more of that confidence, slipping through a little bit from his performance from last week, but now he needs the rest of the team, the rest of EG, to move forward with him so they could actually push this to a closer matchup now on their attack half of Pearl.
This lineup is going. Wait for it to fall. Mid plate comes in. Not gonna need the lineup.
Crew doesn't want to give any space to EG at all, but here comes at least a wingman to come in for the plant. Nice little sprays across though, coming out to damage the defense. The aggressive push out from EG as they had the player advantage and also the spike down.
3 ghosts. Expensive round in this one.
Yeah,
know the smokes are going to be played, right? Those ghosts will be able to fire right through. Pressuring. Great crossfire here.
It's tapped here from long A. Nagzit still moving in with the rest of Crew. Jago playing towards the back of the site with Calm. So Crew knows there's a second player. Nagzit drops a second.
Cove.
And now it's up to Ethan and Boostio. Nobody onto the spike as of yet.
They got to push.
There's no time. There's no time. It's going to be EG with the pistol.
Can't use that yet. Last player standing.
The start they needed.
You can tell a pet.
We said it was an expensive buy. With those ghosts, you are going to get a little bit less utility with that buy as well. So EG really had to work as a team to make sure this one worked, to make sure they could break that cove as soon as it went down. And put everything, all the pieces together so it would work. Orchestrated well. 4-1 split. Their rotator, or rather lurker, is going to be Boostio here on the Astra now. Demon 1 stays in mid. You can almost see how much it works to have a new player on the team hold a lurk spot, right?
Yeah.
If you think about it, the synergy is there with how the teams are taking protocols, countering things. So while it puts a lot of pressure on Demon 1 to be solo here, it kind of gives a little bit of freedom for him to also work. Being a jet duelist, it can't hurt to make your own plays, right?
I agree with that, especially when you're coming into a new roster for EG. There's some role swaps going through with Boostio going back into a controller role, so you want to have like that synergy to still work, to still function for EG. So let the other players work with that utility to clear that space, and then you have Demon that could maybe make 1v1 on rotations.
Sick wall.
Nice little snake wall. Cheeky there coming out from Joggimill, but in the end, like I've mentioned before, or I was trying to finish with, it's Demon 1 could cut these rotations, play 1v1s against rotators, and let the rest of EG execute like they are right now into this A site, an open site. Well, it was Crew that was looking for that stack into B. Something at least here for the fans to cheer for EG. It's a plant from Wingman.
Watching this spot.
All right, how's this rotation work? Cove is there, High Tide's back up, you have a flash, and maybe some mollies to kind of break EG off of the angles they're holding. If Nags can get those deep, this Guardian's really gonna hurt. Demon 1 ready to make the shot, High Tide's through, and Ethan's just holding the dugout right now.
Nice Nebula being thrown down by Busio to assist Ethan there. To let every single player of Crew run out of it one by one. And building up closer into the ults. Trying to build those up very early into the second half, which would be really great for EG. Halfway for Jogimo, halfway for Ethan, and a flawless on top of that for the second round for the Evil Geniuses.
All right, smooth play for the first two. This is where it could get scary. What does Crew have in store for Evil Geniuses here? A few of those buys are still coming up for Spectres. You just watch Ethan destroy on this backside. It's Bulldog for Calm. So nothing changed up too much there. They're actually going to switch Demon 1 to the team. They might go for an orb focus here. In mid. Quick guiding light. Up and over through that A portion. Wow, that's a lot of damage to start out on Melzer. Healed up quick by Klaus. They're in sight together, so not a problem. But they do find where the Viper is playing here, considering the wall is going to be used off of that A hold, right?
Yep.
So they can tell that Crew is trying to hold the map pretty steady right now if they're going to have Melzer playing in A and wall B. Space taken towards mid here.
All right.
And it looks like they're just util destroying. Back and forth, trying to get Crew to react.
Which will allow, it seems, an execution into the A site. Mosh pit now being thrown in. Being set up right now towards the back of the site. High tide clearing out the end, so it's an open one for EG to move in. 45 seconds left. So still plenty of time to avoid this nanoswarm and get the plant. Not really planning for long at this time, though. But we do have low-end weaponry for EG. So for some of the players to choose to stay inside the site, but the first one to get spotted. Sprayed now by Melzer, one on top of the wall. It's going to be Kesnet. Now Poisoner up. Flashes in high tides as Crew is looking to get the retake. The tap onto it, grab the well to push him away from that defuse. And the sprays continue on both ends, but Calm lines up two right there behind the high tide. But then becomes a 2 versus 1. Wingman to assist the spray, at least a half onto Nagset, and it's a half defuse for Klaus. So close for that kill, but no clutch coming in for EG as Crew put up 10 on the board.
Comes down to a bit of the gun diff, but also smartly played with the util towards the end, right? It got hectic. Those last two members of Crew slowed it down, made sure the defuse came through. And you could just see Nagset kind of playing protector here. Get down, Mr. President. The shots just miss, and they're able to get the 2-shot after. Klaus with the 3K on that retake. Now, Evil Geniuses have to plan a little better now. It looked like they had everything covered. A few towards A. But Crew was able to get all 5 in the site without really meeting too much counterattack. I think that's the space that allowed them to win the round. A check on the extremities towards the right. Ethan throws out a quick guiding light. This is one of the first times we see a big push towards mid. Nobody's really been playing here too much. We saw Crew do this on their attack side maybe once or twice, but it was always the extremities. This turret destruction seems to be a focus here now at the beginning of the rounds. And a Reckoning Vans?
Yeah.
It's like they're just kind of playing with their food right now. EG is not getting too many fights, but they know they're getting space.
Especially for their Seekers as well. One spotted inside the pit. Nice little combination, allowing Jogamo to get the frag. Oh no! Utility in his hands. The cross still saves him. And now he fights inside of the headshot of the class. A second one on to Keston for the third on the board. Now just instantly it's up to Nags. And he's gonna fall back and save. Whew. That was pretty clean there from Jogamo on a reaction after from the Cove.
Someone looking down on him on that one. What a quick play. Nice snap reaction. And yeah, being able to take out 2 in that does not make it any easier for Crew, and that's what Evil Geniuses is looking for. As well, it's easy to say fights can go either way, but if you look at EG's previous games, that kind of stuff was not Jogamo getting a 2K, right? That was, caught out with util again. Oh, another one fell because Jogamo was then down, and that angle wasn't right. The timings weren't there. Falling in favor of Evil Geniuses this time. And not everything is planned, but they are on top of the plays, which is the point. Crew, a timeout here to be called. This second half is owned by EG so far, and it is what they need. It couldn't have gone any other way.
Yeah.
With the way Crew came out of that first half.
It's really pretty much the opposite of the storyline for Evil Geniuses on this map. Strong defense to start off their first matchup against Cloud9, then just being dismantled when they took the attack, and all of that as well was stopped by a lot of the utility and just Zelsis running in and dropping the wingman. The difference is now that we're currently seeing from Evil Geniuses is that they're running in with the wingman, they're moving with the wingman, getting more space while the wingman is planting, while for Crew, they don't add that same pressure as Cloud9 did. There's no flashes through smokes or whatnot, so that allows really for EG to set up for these post plants.
So EG has more than grilled cheese on the menu this time. That's amazing. I can't wait to see. Let's get a dessert. Did we have it appetized already? This is good.
The dessert would be a nice, sweet victory from EG at least if they could bring this comeback after this timeout.
It's wild to think both teams still looking for their first win here.
Yeah.
As we get into week 3. It has been a turbulent one for these squads. Round 17 upon us now. Stingers and some classics there for Crew. Doesn't look like they'll be able to set up too much of a counterattack. They'll just orb focus onto A. As EG will now kind of do the Crew strat. It's B time. No flanks though. They, rather lurks. No lurks here for EG. So this looks like a pretty big commit.
Jump spot to find some information. Already a lineup.
Tom's got the lineup.
Very quick here for EG. Dizzy to clear up behind the high tide. As we currently have an open site, the wingman's still moving in. Look at that. We're pushing towards the back halls. Trailblazer to clear towards the back of the site, and it's up to Crew to play the retake on this lower buy. Only 2 Stingers in Classics. At least the Blade Storm could be something huge here. And then dashing forward, but traded off by Joggable. Cleans up more kills around the cove. That's his own ring right there. A 4K into the round.
2 times 2 now. He's just going bigger and bigger each round, right? Joggamo coming out with some big kills there. And it does not look like Evil Geniuses is having too much trouble with the few switches that they are putting into the team. Working out well. Still obviously ironing out a few of the kinks, but really the communication seems to be there and how they're covering each other, right? Ethan goes down to that Blade Storm, answered by Joggamo instantly, playing off each other much better. And the confidence of what angles they're holding. EG, you mentioned it before, they were reading the map well, always kind of getting this free space for themselves. Here, a Thrash was used, so you're going to get that anyway. But they look for a fake on this orb control. Pull out the Trailblazer. Still the mind games.
Ooh, that's some big damage, though.
Yeah, that's a little sting.
140 on that Phantom. Ethan is now going to be a crucial point of this EG hit as they cut some noise, and with 10 HP remaining, he's probably going to have to play a little bit more passively. But thankfully, there's another Thrash that's available. There's a Reckoning that could help clear out the sites into B. There you go. Immediately launched by Joggamo.
She's still gunning for you.
Thrash, Wingman, everything. Few ultimates used here for EG. There are Seekers. I don't know if they'll use them, though. Once they get to B, they know everybody's straight down this long side, so that wouldn't really be helpful.
It's not planted that deep right now, but thankfully there's still utility to stop. Nanoswarm still available, though, and there's that first delay. After that, waiting for the mosh pit. Delay even more. Then you still have a gravity well on another tap. So the util's pretty good, but there's that Cove coming out. Dizzy to blind a few. And there you go, off! The spike, the spray comes out from EG. 2 more to go to tie up at least into the round, bringing it to 2 round. Naxxit fights back!
The time.
2 HP are low! Woo. An EG fight back. That was chaotic at some point.
That was really chaotic. I mentioned before, it's really neat to see or watch teams, how quick they approach the long B fight, right? Crew kept going, pushing into the extremities over to the right, behind Pillar, kept pushing up. Yeah, Crew know you have to retake that space at B. And like you said, EG identifying that as well. Keep safe as Crew pushed up. And B does seem to be that really tough site to take. It just becomes an all-out war each time, and it's kind of like who uses util first, right?
Yeah.
You know, if it goes out and you don't have it, it almost seems to be the problem. So you're holding just for the last second to be that one to use your util to get the upper hand. 3-2 split to start off. A little bit more of a rotation from EG, but they are running away from a big squad of Crew right now, and Sheriff's running up B long.
It's definitely a change of pace from Crew, pushing more aggressively here towards B. Nags looking for a shot. It was aimed at the body as Calm was trying to swing out. And we're going quick into this one.
Wingman's gonna plant spike.
Seems it continuously quick. Do they know there's that many behind, though? Great setup by the util. That alarm bot's active.
It actually stopped the spike carrier. So that slows down the pace, allowing this flank to happen. Booster reacting onto that, hearing the noise, and now looking for some help, at least some support. Was being pressured by 2 players. Now the Trailblazer comes in. Davies at least moves in with the Sheriff for the kill. High Tide then. So they're both moving in. One weapon will get picked up here by Klaus.
Oh. Quick flash.
And I'm blind, but Joggermo's there for the save, dude.
Drive-by.
Bren's gonna be happy with this one because, you know, there was a time when it was talking about a gulag agent. And Joggermo's really doing that with Harbor here on this very map.
It's like you're in here fighting, or you're in here with me. Just flies right through.
Dude, Riv, just like that, we're actually 1 round away of tying up the game.
And this has been a very fast second half. This is not one of those, it's okay, Crew is penetrating that post-plant defense. Look at, for us, the scoreboard here on our screen is all attack kills. A spike explosion and kill round, kill round, kill round, kill round. Really nicely done by EG, getting to the opponents, taking Crew down, and really stopping Crew before they can exact any of their aggressive protocols on these retakes, any trap plays. I think they've been doing a very good job sticking together, and the team synergy looks on point here to come back for a 9-10. This is a false comeback, though. Are they tricking us, Van Silly? As Crew calls a timeout. Come into this next round with a reckoning and lockdown to stop EG.
To answer you, probably not, because it looks really good here for EG, right? They get these plants, they're really fighting inside the site. They're making it very difficult for Crew to come in for the retake. 1 round separates these 2 teams. Evil Geniuses on a comeback. We have 2 ults now available for Crew for a strong retake. Both of these teams looking into that playbook to play the retake style, and nobody's really winning it. So it's really the attack half that's paying off. But EG looking much cleaner here once they're into the sites. Flash back and forth. 4 players from Crew fighting forward towards long A. And Jogimo almost got caught once again. Manages to fall back just on time.
Crew has now taken long B to the max and now A to the max, just continuously pushing 2 rounds in a row. The extremities, they just want to own it. Just squeeze the map in.
What a great timing to put that alarm bot down.
Yeah, last second.
Gets destroyed. Players are looking behind. And there's the firing range from the Evil Geniuses. The 3rd flanker just hiding, counting the bullets. Now 1v1 against Demon.
TVs.
But gets damaged down to 26 HP. For the rest, still pushing very quickly towards the B site now. And Nags is trying to get a position. Cosmic Divide behind the sliver of this toxic screen.
Oh dear.
Will it get cleared? There's already a star out there. And it's a Nova Pulse. Nobody's clearing it though. But at least it's gonna be the turret to run across. The human turret. To allow the trade to happen for EG. A 2 versus 1. Davies with a reckoning on the flank. Spotted by Joggable. Both of them swinging out for EG. And they tie up the game 10-10.
EG's pacing right now is so good. If they slow down at all, that's Crew on their heels immediately on these rounds, forcing EG's play and what they have to do. Great reaction to the pressure from Crew pushing long there. And I think a mistake from Crew as well to consider that EG is rushing everywhere. As soon as they cleared the alarm bot, Kesnet just stampedes out into mid. It's like, who wouldn't be able to hit that shot if you're mid? No util used there. They assumed EG was already hitting a site. So EG definitely being able to fake out Crew a little bit with how they're playing here.
Yeah.
And Crew getting antsy on the pushes. They slow down for around here, Vans. Back to the defensive style, but not for EG. Reckoning right away onto B here. Stopped by some delay mollies, but they'll be in.
When the utility is just really good for EG, falling behind that Reckoning. All of Crew push behind the site. Oh, wait. Okay. We're just trying to clear space here from The wingman being thrown, but it's actually going to be Crew that regains that space. Jogging will running across with that tap and the kill. A second one will cancel out that pit, but Crew still fighting forward. Spike is now down. Seeker's coming out. Big flash, but it doesn't affect Boostio. Unfortunately, cannot get any kills in, and that is actually going to be Crew with the lower buy to enter back and regain the lead on Pearl.
I missed the entirety of the wingman play, but instantly my brain went, did he throw that out to get like, because if you hear a wingman through smoke, you're gonna start shooting at it. You're like, that thing has spike. It's going for a plant, but it wasn't going for a plant. Somebody else was, which is actually pretty neat to catch your opponent during that spam session to start planning. Little trick of the mind, but it did not fool Crew. They come out very nicely on that round, and after Crew's timeout, they do get themselves around, but it will be EG now to stop any of that one round momentum to get back.
One of those rare moments now in the second half where EG weren't really able to hold off on an execution. But a nice retaliation from Crew. You mentioned before here, Riv, their drive-by attempts coming out from Kesnet, the aggressiveness coming out from Kesnet. It was really good when it was opening up the B site here on the attack, but definitely the EG's been doing a really good job avoiding that, not allowing Kesnet to get too much value on a defender half, and even keeping it a Kami low where you can't really bring out the operator on the defense, which could actually cancel out a lot of those plans that you might have on these hits for EG, especially if you're trying to move towards this B site like you have been.
For sure. I mean, we having the operator on B kind of calls for EG to have to use up more util as they come around B long, right?
Yeah.
You kind of need the guiding light, cascade up, as always, you use that, but it does require more utility. So in a sense, you're just trying to draw more out of your opponent, and without the up, you're right, they don't have that option on the side of Crew. A lot more tame on this A control that Crew is going for, but the guiding light still came through the same spot over top, so they can see if anybody is pushing that A location. Bit of a tempered answer back here from the side of Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, waiting for a timing to see if somebody was pushing up aggressively behind the boxes. Now all of that is cleared. An opportunity for Ethan, at least an attempt to pick up this orb to activate the Seekers, or at least have it available into the round. They do so and they fall back.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, there's Kesnet. He has assistance in sight. That's for sure. They start to rotate over. So bots are disabled now. Actually, I think just within range of that mid bot. Demon 1's gonna stay. So they leave Demon 1 back by shops as per usual. And a bit of a read here by Crew if they're in time. Few ultimates to be used here by Demon 1 and Ethan if EG have trouble getting in the site. There goes Demon.
So a lockdown coming out. Com looking potentially for a wingman plant to allow the thrash to happen.
So pretty.
To be available here for Com indeed. As Crew's trying to answer back with their own lockdown. Seekers massed on top of that on the attack. But all of Crew are looking to fight right back into the site. High tide to stop. Wingman coming out, there's only 10 seconds. Busio moving through. Klaus falls first. There's that plant, and that thrash is available for Com. Who's playing it behind just around the corner. Off any type of util, the thrash will be activated. But it's still Busio holding towards his B-Link. Trying to see if there's going to be any flankers, and off of that, off of 5 versus 3, Crew decides to fall back and save their weapons into the next.
It was one of the first times, besides a pistoler before our bonus round, we have anybody working B-Link.
Yeah.
This has just seemed like it's been off. Detour to art, around. A lot of times we'll have teams pushing all the way to spawn on B-Link, but not this time. All to the maps. Hunting. Evil Genius is looking for the last few. They have decent money, and they know it's pretty low for Crew, so this stings.
Getting the last 2 would be even more. Trying to survive.
There it is.
All fall. 11 to 11 onto the scoreboard. Yes, there's still some money left here for Crew. They could scramble to buy Hero rifles for a few. But this is looking really tough here for Crew. 3 rifles actually doesn't really become a hero buy, but it seems something that's doable into this point. And they'll be okay to buy at least into round 24 should they fall this round here.
Such a tough one too. No armor. It's light armor as well against this EG squad who is just huffing Gecko util at you mollies, concusses. So it only gets harder here for Crew. They do save, trying to do what they can with this economy. That is going to be huge from Davies to start this one off. An unexpected first kill.
A timing attempt in now. After the poison orb comes down, it'll get delayed here by Melzer with a snake bite. Trying to read clear for information. Is that Trailblazer coming out from Klaus? Look at Kisnin moving forward here. Being watched by Demon 1. All this noise is being made by EG so that this fight could happen now on the top mid. But Demon 1 walks away. Kesnick gets a perfect flank, but it gets looked back. Still, he was able to get Jogimo. That's one less controller onto the hit. Thankfully, the Cosmic Divide is available for Busio. And it's up to Davies to try to move forward. He's going to hear all of his footsteps.
Oh, God.
He's hiding behind the wall. Should they clear this? So far, no. A fake clear, but Demon still flicks across to get the kill. 20 seconds left on a 3 versus 3. Flash to clear out the site. Crew is looking for a timing to run through. There it is, a 1-for-1. Demon 1 answers back.
10 seconds left.
It's safe. It's a safe plant, though. Oh, there's a shot coming in. A second one. Not connecting. Ethan allows EG to take map point.
Ethan with a huge pickup there as Melzer had the back of both members of Evil Geniuses. The Cosmic Divide almost being enough to pull that round through as he snuck up to it. Thrash here for Evil Geniuses. Blade Storm for Kesmet. This next round could be big. Oh. Evil Geniuses knowing exactly what that round meant. Potter excited. What's the push, Vansili? What's the play? EG love to tempt this A as they see guiding light from Crew hit there. Jogamo goes for the orb. Reckoning again. We've seen so many. Davies is even off one here. They've been controlling the sites so well.
Yeah, denying the orb away from Davies, who's currently playing it from the B link.
Thrash is ready.
Now you have Thrash and Reckoning available. Fourth player now who is defaulting back towards the B side rejoins EG.
One more. Here's more.
We're gonna attempt for a hit into this A site. Thrash clearing it out. No hits coming through, but it's still a snake bite combination that puts down Jogimo. No matter what, we have a plan, a push in towards the flowers. Ethan with an aggressive one gets the first one here. Calm also fights back on the other side of the map.
I've got your trail.
And it's looking pretty good for EG so far until Naxa comes in for the backstab. Seeker is now on the attack, spawning the last two players. Boostio on a late lurk, but here's the footsteps. Knows that Nagzet is close.
Timing.
The first one in, a 2 versus 1, but the spike's still down. Klaus is closing in. Trailblazer is also coming out, but now it gets shot out. They know exactly now that Klaus is hiding inside the flower pot. Boostio and Ethan moving together inside the side. Stars are being placed down. Nova Pulse, the swing out, and Boostio comes in for the kill. EG comes back into the first map, and they win it 13-11.
And what a way to capitalize on that win. Insta and accurate util for Ethan and Boostio to take that down. Evil Geniuses looked like they were still ironing a few things out, but the players felt like the players stepped up another level today. Jogamo being able to do so much for the squad here. Gotta shout out Comms Gecko. The amount of util lineups that they had with the mosh pit, you gotta respect those. You love to see it, and there were different lineups for the A take as well. Great showing there by Evil Geniuses to weather the storm, that aggression from Crew.
I'm speechless in this game. This is a night and day from...
Yeah, it is.
The script has been flipped for how EG has been playing. Looking so good on the attack. I thought it was over when it was 9-3 for Crew. But unfortunately, it seems like that same Riot script of a 9-3 curse.
Look at what Demon did. Played well, played the position. We even saw him bring out the off there at the final hour of the first half. But yeah, it's still anybody's series. Crew look just as strong. Evil Geniuses, they're shooting neck and neck right now. This is going to be an awesome series. We're stepping away for a quick break right now, but when we come back, the Analyst Desk will break down map number 1.
Red Bull gives you wings.